Good morning again. My name is Jane Castleman. I'm a today's service associate, and David Rosh will be presenting our message this morning. And so I just want to welcome you with Live from Fellowship Hall. It's our LCUUF Sunday service. Our announcements were on a slideshow before the service, and were also sent out by email yesterday in the weekly newsletter. Thank you, Chris. With the order of service for today, and if you are new and would like to receive emails for upcoming services, please talk to a member of the welcome team or write to us. And now a special welcome to our visitors. If you are visiting with us for the first time, or have returned or reconnected with us after a prolonged absence, we invite you to say your name and tell us where you're from. If you're on Zoom, use the Zoom raise hands feature, and we'll ask you to unmute. If you're in the room, just raise your hand. We'll start with the people in the room.
Oh, with you? Okay.
My name is Bob Reinhurst. My name is Bob Reinhurst. My wife and I live in Hohotepec. And it's good to be here for Mother's Day. Thank you.
Welcome.
I'm Jane Reinhurst. I'm his better half.
I'm Will Lassa, and my wife and I are here for a couple of weeks, and we passed through here in October and joined y'all, and we enjoyed it immensely and wanted to do it again. We are from north of Seattle. Pleased to be here.
And I'm his better half. Oh, right. Sorry. I'm Karina Lassa.
I'm Linda Kyler. Right now I'm living in La Floresta. I'm deciding whether or not this is home for me. And thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Hello, my name is Leah Holzman, and I'm living at Namaste Village in Ahihic. I've been here 6 weeks, and I know David from Phoenix, and I wanted to come and support him today.
Anybody else? Not yet, so we're here. Okay, we'll tell you when. Now let's switch to those on Zoom. Is there anybody new with us on Zoom?
Go ahead, Lorna.
Hi, my name is Lorna Davalos. I'm the daughter of Mary Helen. Happy Mother's Day yet again. I stop in every now and then. I'm in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Anybody else? Okay. And just a brief
This
note.
is Will Russell. I'm driving to the fellowship.
Could you say that again?
This is Will Russell. I'm an occasional visitor, and I'm presently driving towards fellowship. Hopefully, be able to attend in a few minutes.
Thank you, Will. And just a brief note, we offer a wide variety of services on various topics presented by our members. Our outside guests, our members, our outside guests, as well as our minister, Reverend Matt Elsbaugh. And we hope that you will return to sample this variety of thought and belief. Our opening words this morning, the hymn or the words? Okay, opening words this morning are by Margaret A. Keep. As surely as we belong to the universe, we belong together. We join here to transcend the isolated self, to reconnect, to know ourselves, to be at home here on earth, under the stars, linked with each other. There is, the screen is, there we go. I think we're going to do the hymn now. I'm new at this, if you haven't figured that out. Please stand if you're willing and able. Thanks. There are many ways to be of service to LCUUF. Our time, our treasure, our talents, they're all necessary components to a healthy fellowship. So now is the time in our service when we ask you to share the gift of treasure through pledging and donations. Instructions for payment to the fellowship are on a slide during the announcements before the service every week. For the people here at the fellowship, we'll pass a basket. If you are new here today or you are struggling to hold things together, please let the basket pass you by. Your presence is more than enough and a gift for us. And while you're considering your gifts to the fellowship, remember that each month LCUUF donates 5,000 pesos or more to an organization in our lakeside community. We share 1/2 of the offering collected at the fellowship each week with that organization. For the month of May, we are supporting Tepewa Centro Comunitario. The Tepewa neighborhood is situated on a hillside above downtown Chapala. It's considered one of the poorest neighborhoods in the whole state of Jalisco. Their vision is to help a village to help itself, to create a place the poor village can go to for food, counseling, guidance, help of any kind. If you are not attending the fellowship in person, please donate to share the basket when you pay your pledge. Donate to share the basket separately or indicate what part of your donation is for share the basket. The offering has now been given and gratefully received. Okay. Now let us light our chalice and with these words that we sing together.
Kindle this night in celebration for the life that we share.
Each week, we take time to remind ourselves that we belong to a community which cares for each other. The sharing of joys, sorrows, and milestones is one way that we practice holding one another in community. We speak what's in our hearts, sharing any significant joys or sorrows in our lives, because there's power in the sharing. We will start with the folks in the room to give those on Zoom a chance to type joys or sorrows into the chat to be read aloud by the Zoom host. First, let us recall the joys. Whatever you may be celebrating, whatever evokes a feeling of joy or peace for yourself or others. So, Kat, will you help those in the room share their joys?
Extremely grateful for the gift of friendship in my life. And I'm also very grateful for 2 beautiful daughters-in-law.
Some joys from the tech team.
A quick joy. I'd like to just say my wife and I are celebrating our 46th anniversary today.
Well, that outdoes me. 40 years ago today, I married my best friend. Almost within 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
I am so grateful. Tomorrow in the afternoon, my husband will have his stitches removed from his arm, and he's going to have another arm to work with, and I won't have to do anything else anymore.
I'm grateful for the new friendships that I am making, and I'm very grateful that my granddaughter is graduating her 4-year degree in journalism this month.
I'm Richard, and my joy is for Carol Powell. Lorna and my wife, Carol Johnson, worked and have Carol Powell now in what it looks like a good care facility and solving many problems that she had.
I'm Phil, and I want to express my gratitude to my mom. I had the greatest mother that I can imagine, and wherever you are, Mom, I love you.
Go.
One more. Lots of joy this morning.
Lots of joy.
Which brings us, I'm Kate, which brings us around to the fact that today is Mother's Day, and for all of the moms here in the fellowship, happy Mother's Day.
Thank you, Kate.
Are there any joys that people, are there any joys to be shared on Zoom?
Yes, Jen. First of all, I want to welcome Joyce Kinnear, who is joining us on Zoom. She's moving from Panama to Puerto Vallarta. Welcome. We also have some other joys that were shared from Devorah Kelly. She says, I'm in South Lake, Texas for the weekend with my oldest daughter and 2 oldest grandsons. And I head for New England for a visit with my 2 youngest and my youngest son. And the weather is gorgeous. From Lindley, her joy is having her grandson Blaine and his wife Kelly visit for 2 weeks. Exhausting, but oh so fun. A joy from Lorna, Kate's daughter, who says, I'm so happy that my mother has this wonderful LCUU community. And from me, just gratitude, this is Colleen, that I attended a reunion of my family in Iowa. I had 64 of my aunts, uncles, cousins, and their spouses, children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, all attending events for a weekend. That's all.
Thank you, Colleen. Now let us voice our sorrows. Whatever you or the world may be holding that is in need of our healing and caring thoughts. Are there any sorrows that people would like to share here in the room? Go ahead. We'll get it all covered, don't worry.
I'm doing both. 2 weeks ago, Forward Magazine, Jewish periodical, published an incredible essay by one Mordechai about the fact that thousands of Orthodox Jews are committing suicide. So I'm thinking of Herschel Siegel, who died having committed suicide, and I've written an article that I hope to publish about this issue, and just want people to know about this tragedy. Suicide in general is such an awful thing, but it's affecting Orthodox Jews, Jewish men as well.
Any other sorrows in the room? Yes, one more.
I have great sorrow for all the people that are suffering in wars all over this world. And it just doesn't seem to have an end. It just keeps going and going and going. And it's just ridiculous, really, that in this 21st century that we have to witness this.
Are there any sorrows to be shared on Zoom?
Just one from me. I have concern for some neighbors that are experiencing some serious medical and marital issues, and I hope they can find some recovery. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Colleen. And this candle from our care team represents the joys and sorrows we hold in the silent sanctuary of our hearts. We light this candle for all those unspoken sorrows and joys. Thank you. Let us share a moment of silence to hold in our hearts both the sorrows and the joys that have been shared this morning. Thank you. I invite you now to take part in the responsive reading of a Chinook blessing. David, Rosh, or I will read the top paragraph of each slide. Don't worry if you can't read the words. Just enjoy the picture in the background. But you please respond to each verse with the highlighted words at the bottom. We call upon the earth with its beautiful depths and soaring heights, its vitality and abundance of life, and together we ask that it teach us and show us the way. We call upon the mountains, the high green valleys and meadows filled with wildflowers, the snows that never melt, the summits of intense silence, and we ask that they teach us and show us the way.
We call upon the waters that rim the earth, horizon to horizon, that flow in our rivers and streams, that fall upon our gardens and fields, and we ask that they teach us and show us the way. We call upon the forests, the great trees, reaching strongly to the sky, with earth in their roots and the heavens in their branches, the fir and the pine and the cedar, and we ask them to teach us and show us the way.
We call upon the creatures of the fields and forests and the seas, our brothers and sisters, the wolves and deer, the eagle and the dove, the great whales and the dolphin, the beautiful orca and salmon who share our home. And we ask them,
teach us and show us the way.
We call upon all those who have lived on this earth, our ancestors and our friends, who dream the best for future generations and upon whose lives our lives are built. And with thanksgiving, we call upon them.
Teach us and show us the way. And lastly, we call upon all that we hold most sacred, the presence and power of Great Spirit, great mystery, of love and truth, which flows through all the universe, to be with us, to teach us and show us the way.
Now let me turn you over to David, who will give you a message to expand on this.
I just want you to know how excited I am about learning how to be a candle lighter. After having been feeling somewhat challenged with my inability to be helpful over the past several months. Anybody looking for a candle lighter?
We'll ask you.
So please bear with me. I move slowly, now more so than ever. But I'm with you. Oh, they're just good people everywhere you turn. Okay.
Be careful of not being too close to the candle. Yes.
There's a lot to being a candle lighter. More than meets the eye. Excuse me. Good morning. I am David. I'm also known as Spruce 8 Feathers. Please allow me to preface my talk with this personal note.
Excuse me just a minute. Make sure that the candles are not too close to the flowers.
I'm learning a lot.
Thank you.
We good? Now, where was I? Please allow me to preface my talk with this personal note. I was blessed to immerse myself in Native American culture as it became a major avenue for me to meet and get to know the higher power, which the 12-step fellowship that had become necessary to my survival was demanding. As a closet atheist, I had no challenge in gazing at a star-studded night sky and seeing a great mystery. It happens to be the most popular term used by the hundreds of Native American tribes across our land. Most people think it's Great Spirit. It's Great Mystery, and I like it. This proved to be the medicine I needed to heal spiritually by learning to let go of unhelpful words and concepts that at that time had become toxic for me. It is my hope and my intention that these few words here may help us get where we wish to go this morning. Creation spirituality is where we want to go. Creation spirituality begins with creation and the cosmos. We now know that the universe had to exist 19 billion years before our species could arrive, and 1 trillion galaxies large. We are told it took 1 billion years to get the ozone just right for all life on Earth. Awesome, isn't it? How about our moon? Just the right distance from Earth. If any closer, the tides would not have happened, life would not have emerged, had the temperature of the original fireball been 1 degree warmer or colder over 750,000 year period, we would not be here. Anybody feel we lucked out? These stories are tumbling out of YouTube in our living room daily, moving the hearts of many scientists finally to awe and wonder. Creation spirituality names 4 paths, 4 dynamics, 4 motivating forces. When we search for meaning, which I believe we all do, we are meaning-hungry creatures. When we search for meaning, we ask the question, what matters? This is what the 4 paths are about. They point us to what matters. They tell us where we will experience the divine in our time. In Hebrew, I just love this word, one of the few Hebrew I know, ruah. Whether it's Hebrew or whether it's English, breath, wind, none of them are bound. Can you imagine binding the wind? None of them are bound to a path. But out of their beauty, their truth, and their inherent goodness, 4 dynamic forces emerge and beckon us. What is common to each of the 4 paths is spirit. All true paths are essentially one path because spirit is one breath, one life, one energy. Spirit belongs to no one of us and to all of us. Spirituality does not make us otherworldly. It renders us more fully alive, away from the superficial, more willing to move in the direction of the depths. But let us take a look at where we are today. How can it be that the ecological balance of our planet is so out of balance, in such jeopardy? Only because human beings, with their religions, education, moralities, governments, economies, have lost the sense of creation. Business as usual. When that happens, nothing is holy. Nothing seems worth the struggle for justice and what it takes to preserve it. Our experience of community withers. The quality of relationships deteriorates. The primary revelation is creation itself. In a cosmological context, the universe loves us every day the sun shines. It is a blessing so thoroughly unconditional, so fully graced, that we can go through life hardly noticing it at all. When cut off from this awareness, from a sense of grace and blessing, we experience boredom, depression, ennui. Creation spirituality is the oldest tradition on this land. It is the basic heritage of our Native American brothers. In fact, it is the basic heritage of Native peoples everywhere. The Celts, the Magyars, the Maori, the Huicho. It is the most ancient of the various traditions in the Hebrew scripture, represented in much of the prophets and in all of the wisdom literature. In the Christian scripture, from the prologue to John to the book of Revelation, it is there. It permeates the parables of Jesus, whose followers intuited their meaning because they were steeped in images of nature and the natural world. In Paul, it is celebrated in hymns to the cosmos. Creation spirituality is not a religion. It has nothing to do with doctrine, has nothing to do with dogma. Many of the Protestant reformers tried valiantly, with mixed success, to return creation spirituality to its original centrality. Gradually, the secular world became deprived of the paradigm of the cosmic spiritual dimension. The burning of the mystic scientist Giordano Bruno in 1600, followed by the condemnation of Galileo in 1616, announced Christianity's hostility to a cosmology, its theory of the origin of the universe that it could not control. Science and religion split, and that's been it for well over 400 plus years, to the detriment of both. One of my favorite photos. The way reality is seen today is still dominated, believe it or not, by the Newtonian Cartesian machine model. That the universe consists of material objects separated in space and time and unconnected at any deeper or implicate level. That matter is fundamental. That consciousness is an emergent property of matter. That everything is governed by strict, deterministic, mechanistic laws. The universe is a great machine. And we are biological robots that are part of that machine. Until a century ago, most scientists thought our Milky Way galaxy, and most of us, thought our Milky Way galaxy was the entire universe, static and unchanging. Then came the equation that threatened to blow Einstein's socks off. That was in 1915. Understanding that objects do not fall because they are pulled by Earth's gravity, but they and Earth freely move in a curved space-time. Just 14 years later, Edwin Hubble saw it all through his telescope. Galaxies are, in fact, moving. Not just moving, but ceaselessly expanding outward. Today, any person from any cultural, any religious or ideological background can see the same thing that we just saw on YouTube.
Apollo 8 was the crew, Frank Borman, Jim Lovell, and Bill Anders, all very good friends of mine who went out to the moon at Christmas in 1968. The most memorable thing about it for me was the fact that they got there, went into orbit, and then for some reason that I don't know, and I don't know if he knows, but Frank Borman rolled the spacecraft So that they were going forward. Same attitude, but they were going forward then. Craters were coming from the far horizon toward them. The same thing. Crater upon crater upon crater, shades of gray, looking up, stars in a very, very black universe. And all of a sudden, shockingly, I mean literally, it was a shock to them, when up over the horizon came the Earth. Beautiful, blue and white, colorful, and suddenly for the first time in history, humanity realized what it was all about.
Seeing is believing. The mechanistic worldview of a Newton and a Descartes is being recast today through breathtaking discoveries in quantum physics and integrated with the wisdom of the ancients. It is this cosmological revolution that the ancient tradition known as creation spirituality articulates and celebrates. Creation spirituality is expressed in 4 dynamic forces, 4 paths to human wholeness. Here it is expressed in 4 words: embrace, release, create, transform. Let's take a closer look. Think about your most recent embrace of a sunrise. When did you last look into the eyes of your beloved four-legged? Or a great blue heron that grabbed your attention? The very first ladybug in your growing up. The tree that you climbed about that same time. Remember and celebrate. Consider this. Should you choose to fall in love with one Mozart piece per week, your affair could go on for 7 years. We have not even mentioned poetry, painting, or dance. Pathway 1 says to each one of us, I think you are wonderful, with limitless possibilities. The spiritual journey begins at any age with awe, with wonder, and with falling in love. We might get a feel, we might get a feel for the territory of Pathway 2 with this thought. Do I dare to go down into the dark? It is this pathway that tells us we will find what matters in darkness, in the experience of nothingness, in the silence of the void, in letting go, in allowing pain to be pain, and the willingness to learn from it. It is when the heart is broken that compassion can begin to flow through. It is also a return to our origins. We were all conceived in the darkness, lived our first 9 months in the dark, started out in the dark mystery that preceded fire and light. In traveling pathways 1 and 2, embracing and letting go, we will find what matters. They lead us naturally to Pathway 3. For we create what we have beheld in the darkness and the light. It is not just some of us. It is in all of us. You know it. I know it. Is this not so? Creativity is not just about painting a picture or sculpting an objet d'art. It is about wrestling with the demons and the angels in the depths of our own psyches, daring to name them and daring to communicate around the fire with our brothers and sisters. The process of listening in meditation to our images and birthing them allows us to embrace our enemies. We're talking here about the shadow side of ourselves. We therefore include our biggest unowned, unacknowledged visions and dreams. To give birth is to enter the Creator's realm. Beauty and our role in it, in creating it, lies at the heart of the spiritual journey. Pathway 4. Go for it. Is there any one of us who has not experienced the excitement of going for it? It's about ripeness, about fullness, about giving out of a sense of abundance. It's called compassion. The human call to compassion and justice making is not a burden. And I would add, it is certainly not boring. It has nothing to do with an attitude of righteousness. It is all about our joining the dance of creation, awoke, meaning with awareness, intention, and deliberation, and with our heart in the right place, that is, in a quest for balance that is intrinsic to atoms, to galaxies, to the earth, the whole history of our universe. Yes, Pathway 4 is about relieving suffering, combating injustice, and our struggle for balance. Creation spirituality, with its 4 pathways, 4 dynamic forces, is the celebration that happens when people struggle for justice and people trying to live in mutuality come together to praise, to give thanks for the gift of being, for the gift of being together like today.
Thank you, David. Our closing words today are from a Gaelic blessing. Deep peace on the running wave to you. Deep peace on the flowing air to you. Deep peace on the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the shining stars to you. Deep peace on the gentle night to you. Moon and stars pour their healing light on you. Deep peace to you. Let us extinguish our chalices with these words which we read together. We extinguish of the community or the fire of commitment. These we keep in our hearts and share with all the world. Our worship is over. Our service begins. Go in peace and with a purpose. And thank you for being here.